prevent the closing of our school by a vote of just the residents of the town. Meaning, put it back, that one part of the
It
regional
would
school
have to go
district.
through hearings, it would have to, it would be a process as the last process was, where it would have to go through hearings and it would have to be brought forward, but it certainly would not have a time frame right now to offset this at this point. I mean, you wouldn't be able to change the regional school district because it has to be done by all 5 towns.
Yet this regional school district can close the town in that time period.
I think what he,
that can't be a warrant, I mean, that can't be on the warrant?
I think what the process starts with, you have to have a petition in each of the 5 towns.
We could do that.
We can do that.
Okay, saying what you want changed to the agreement, and then it goes through the process from there.
Okay.
And then the end result is it'll appear as a warrant article on the 5 towns.
Thank you.
But I don't know what that, I mean, I
It's in
don't,
the agreement, the
right, it's in
exact
the
steps.
agreement, the steps you would have to take to do that.
It's online, it's all there.
Right,
Yeah.
it just gives the residents of the agreement.
No, but all the steps that you have to do to get a warrant, I just looked at it.
What would be the timing on that?
Start
That's-
tomorrow, get it in
and
by the
I guess-
by the same time,
By
the
the
warrant has to be
15th?
in by the 15th.
So, if that's the case, would the town have any objection to, say, like the PTA hiring an attorney to investigate such a thing? You know, the New Marlboro Monterey PTA, because there wouldn't
You
really.
guys can do whatever you want.
Well-
If you're, you're an individual organization,
We have no
just like a private citizen could go do that if they want to. But I hope that you're not all, I mean, again, I understand your concerns, I understand what you're doing, but please don't have a closed mind. Please have an open mind to everything that you're gonna hear, and some of you will and some of you won't, and I know, I'm sure there are things that we're all gonna learn in this process, like it or not like it, and I hope that everybody will take the time to listen to all the information that's gonna come out over the next, probably 2 or 3 weeks.
And to that, I would say I do have an open mind, because I'm thinking even further. I assume the building is owned by the district now, and if the
No,
school
the building's
leaves,
owned by
then the
the
building
town.
resorts to the town.
No,
Well, the town still owns it.
The town owns the Marlboro
building.
Central
Okay,
School.
so,
And Egermont's school is owned by a family that gave it to Egermont, and I assume Monterey's owned by
Monterey
the
owns their
town.
own building, yeah.
Sure.
In Egremont, if they would close the building, it would revert back to that family.
To the family who donated
And they
it,
would
right.
do whatever they wanted to do
Right.
legally. Monterey, I don't know. I don't know who owns Monterey.
Yeah, I assume the town does have it. Susan?
Just to follow up on that, does the district pay the town rent for that building?
No.
Okay, and my other 2 points, which I know I said before, but I'm just gonna underline them again, is I am more fearful now that you stated that Singleton had given 21 reasons for closing those schools. Because if you're going to rely on that and making your decision, it's really, it shows such a lack of understanding about what's going on, at least in New Marlboro. I certainly can't speak for Egremont or Monterey. But he has such a lack of understanding of what's going on in those buildings. And if you're going to base your decision on that really frightens me. Because I really think you need to
So stop right
see
there.
the whole thing.
We didn't say we were.
I know, but you said
we
he
said we
gave us
had-
21
he gave us
reasons of
21
substance.
points. It's our job now. Now, I haven't
Great,
ever been
great.
to Egremont School, I've never been to the Monterey School, I've been in New Marlboro Central only for special events. So really, it's our job to take what he gave us
And look at it.
and to look at it.
Great.
And maybe visit each individual
Yeah,
school
visit,
and
don't you
see
think?
what
Yeah.
is and what isn't, and make our own evaluation. All this did was give us some information
Basis.
of what they were thinking. Doesn't
Excellent.
mean we're basing anything on.
All right, but Tara, that's all.
Actually, he did not give us that copy. That copy went to the school committee for
Right.
them to make
If
their
their decision
for a
on
vote.
it.
Right.
It's a courtesy copy to the board.
All right, well, I was afraid you were just relying and not
No,
going past
no,
that.
that's-
If you go past that and investigate it, great, because I think you'll find a lot of things that are,
To make you
different.
feel a little bit more comfortable, at least as from my point of view, I was in the library today and spoke to our librarian. she was telling me, among other things, about the serious adverse effect the closing of the Marlboro school would have on the library and the circulation and all the activity. Something I was unaware of until I spoke to her, and I was very impressed with what she had to say.
That's
So
excellent.
we're just gathering
Well,
information right now.
I
and
agree.
challenging.
We were
It's frustrating that you
blindsided.
asked for a level funded budget and this is the only thing that came back. That's really frustrating. And especially as we all these people, all these are familiar faces. I've seen you at all the town meetings, whether you were on the board or off the board. When they were saying up there, the purpose of this amendment to the regional school district is not to close these schools. And then to be asked to bring forward a level funding budget and for them to come back with the only way to do that is to close these schools. It's, this is where the angst arise.
Yeah, it's terrible.
That's where the angst arise. And if you could say, all right, this is one proposal, let's see what else you've got. Let's see what else we can consider or possibilities. And we didn't get any of that.
And
How do
Lori
you
made a
think we
perfect
felt
point.
when
She
we
was
were
just looking at
blindsided?
it,
We were
and she
blindsided.
brought up,
Yeah.
There's a lot
some
of places.
perfect
That's
things
why
that
you gotta come to
may,
these meetings.
and that's
So
why the
every
meetings
single
why
have
we're
to be
here.
attended, that's why you guys have to look at the stuff, and maybe you can come up with the solution that will make it work, other than what has been proposed, okay? We need that help too. I mean, there's three of us, and, we need to, have your help in looking at this as well. Give us the
Great.
information. We're open to whatever everybody is talking about. We
Okay.
haven't got closed minds on anything that's gonna happen.
I don't mean to interrupt, I know you have
No, it's
something
fine.
else. So if we came back with proposal about where we thought this could be, what would be the process? When do we have to get that information to you all?
We
go to the school committee.
It
Gotta
should
go
go
to the
directly
school.
to the school
Gotta go
committee,
to the
because
school.
they're the ones who prepare the budget.
So we should have it prepared for the public hearing
Yeah.
that they're gonna
Yeah.
have on the
Yeah.
30th?
Yeah.
What I
Okay.
would do is give a courtesy copy to the board
Yes,
so they
Right,
know
so
what's
we know what
going
you're
on.
talking about,
Yeah.
and we
Okay.
aren't
So we're-
And when did
blindsided.
the finance committee,
But I think you
please?
can make
Are you
the
on the
most
finance committee?
direct
Mm-hmm.
impact on
That's
how
right,
you
you know.
feel is directly to the school committee when they hold these hearings. That's why the process is there. And if you want, attend all of them, so that they get to know your face.
Yeah, they'll be real happy with
You've
that.
got to go, you've got to go.
Peter, did you
Yeah,
have?
just one thing, I mean, you're talking 300,000. I know they said 1.2 for all three.
Five, yeah,
Close to
1.5.
Because I
1.4,
figure it's like
1.5.
1.2 for that bill.
Yeah,
We
well,
gotta
that's
come
what
up, we're gonna come up with that.
Yeah,
Peter, you remember I said, Peter, I
Right.
wanted it, because that was a sprinkler, and
There's
that's
a
why I
whole
thought
bunch
it
of
was-
code
I just
deficiencies in
rounded
the
it out.
school. That you're gonna have to come up with
I
that.
actually have a
number.
question about that. Code deficiencies, aren't we kind of grandfathered?
No.
Why do we all of a sudden need to do $1.2
Because
million
the problem
worth
is
of
the
work
way
to
the
bring
co-
the building up to code?
The way it works, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts is if you put, there's a dollar figure on that building. If you do 20% of the dollar figure, you gotta bring it all in handicap. If you do 30% of the dollar figure what the building is, you're gonna sprinkle the building. And new stairways, new hallways, you almost basically end up rebuilding the building.
Which for 1.2 million seems like a deal. To have for a new
Well,
school.
that, again, these are estimates, so we can't, nobody sent anything out to bid, so that's a problem too.
well, that's the thing.
Isn't it
it's a-
actually 800,000, not 1.2 for New
But-
Marlboro?
I
If you separate it.
I don't know.
Yes.
Okay,
in
I just
today's
think it's,
economy,
but this
where
is
they
the
got
kind of
that
thing
done.
that gets a little hairy because people start
Throwing
sharing with
numbers.
each other. It's $1.4 million to, it's not, it's 800,000.
It's 800,000 for the Marlboro.
Not
Yes,
even
but all,
close.
well,
It's closer to 1.2 to 1.3.
I think the important thing is though, is we share information with each other that isn't
Right.
always accurate and it's alarming. It sounds like a ton of money. And it's not only
It
just
is a
what we,
ton of
it's,
money. I mean, that's
it's not,
the problem.
listen, wait, I'm not
Where
finished.
did that figure come from? Do we have an independent person look at that?
Well, that's my point, Jen,
Yeah,
is
right,
that
is there an
that's,
independent?
if that's a,
Operating cost, which is an annual thing. Capital
Right.
But you
costs
still have to pay for
are
it.
investments that you make in a building that hopefully are gonna, be useful for the next 20 years. It's
Yeah.
not something that you're looking at as,
Manual.
an annual,
One
we need
time.
1.2 million.
No, you advertise it.
Right,
You
but it still has to
advertise
be
it,
paid.
and if you
It
divide.
certainly
let
has
me
to be
fin- let me
paid.
finish. If you advertise, if it's 1.5 or 1.4, I don't know what the exact number is, but if you took 1.5 and advertised it over 20 years,
That would be reasonable.
and that's for all three. that's $75,000 a year.
Right. It's a very different number than looking at this as, oh, well, we have to come up with $1.2 million.
You know what our problem is? Last year, we had 3 special meetings, and every single time, the town, you, me, the rest of us, voted down any increase over the 2.5%. So whether it's, you say, well, it's only $75,000, and well, it's only another $75,000 of the $350, it's $150,000. At least, and Tara said it, based on what happened last year, where do we get it?
But those capital costs are still gonna be there, even if the school's not there. I mean, what's gonna happen with that building? You're gonna bulldoze that building? I mean, where that
We
town
haven't
owns
even-
that
we
building,
haven't
if it
discussed-
becomes the new town
We
hall.
haven't even discussed whether we would try and,
No.
try and sell it.
Right.
Depending on the use of the building and the occupancy of the building, is how the code goes.
Is what?
Because you're using it as a school, and the occupancy,
So it's higher
number of
standards.
people that are in that. And again, we don't write the code, I mean, that's just the code. I mean,
Again, but you know, it's like what Kenzie said, these numbers are being thrown around, so people are voting based on numbers that may or may not be accurate.
Except
So,
that
so the point is,
you
is
go to
that
the
we
meeting,
make
then
them
you're gonna
accurate,
find
we
out.
get them to everyone. We don't throw numbers around. We can go back to last year, when they started with a $3 million bond. Okay, the school started with a $3 million bond, and everyone went, you know, $3 million. Remember, our share of that is right under Sheffield's share. It's Sheffield has the highest share, we have the next highest share, and then the other 3 towns fall into place. So for every dollar that's gonna be spent, our share is incredibly high, okay?
Same thing with our
And
budget.
that gives us a higher amount that we have to pay. The other thing, you know, that you need to understand at the same time is the school operating has, for years, never fallen below 2.5%. And they don't have to.
We have
The
to.
towns have to fall under a 2.5%. We have a 2.5%
Cap.
If we go over that, then we have to do these overrides that make people crazy, and they don't understand them, and they think, you know, their taxes are gonna go up, and so, but a school doesn't have a
Doesn't give a
2.5 cap. They can basically go up 4% every year, or whatever, you know, they wanna go up. That budget then comes to the town, okay? We look at that and say, okay, school's going up 4%. If we wanna stay under 2.5% and not do an override that will then create a very big issue within the residents of the town, we have to, you know, not spend any money here, okay? And I'm not saying that we should sacrifice the school, but you need to understand that then we're in a position where we say, okay, well, we can't spend any more money here. We can't give raises to our employees, which we didn't do for 2 or 3 years. We can't we can't make this a better place. We can't do things because we don't want to have the fight at you know, annual town meeting, and we don't want to have the fight, you know, on a ballot question of turning down, you know, money because it's got to go outside 2.5. So we make a lot of sacrifices within ourselves because we have to stay under that, but the school does not. So it creates a really tough process for us when we receive a budget from the school that's up 4%. I mean, it does, and, you know, I hope that you can understand, you know, how we think when we see that. We say, okay, well, where are we going to make the cuts that we need to make to keep everybody happy, to stay out, you know, to stay under the 2.5%, and at the same time, not to have to do an override, which we all know, we went through it 3 times last year. Doesn't work very well. We had it was a very, very tough budgeting season last year. So I'm not saying don't, you know, cut out the school, tell the school they can't, you know. But I want you to also remember there's a process that we have to go through here, and we would like the process to meld and be able to work it, you know, as one. Yes, Charlie.
Just